it's Mal, and welcome to/welcome back to the Doll Mom podcast. Today we have a returning guest, which I'm super duper excited and happy about. She was on episode 12. She shared her doll story. We talked about latest American Girl releases, and we even got into a new topic that we never even discussed before, which was American Girl conspiracy theories. If you have no idea who this guest is, or if you're just beaming with excitement because you really enjoyed episode 12, please welcome back Kassi from @AG Kristinona.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to get to talk to all the awesome listeners of the Doll Mom podcast.
I'm so excited to have you, personally. I'm so excited that you said that you wanted to come back. So today we're going to be getting to know Kassi-ish. We did talk about her doll story in episode 12, so if you want to go re-listen to how she got into dolls, definitely recommend to do that because we're actually going to be talking about something different in the Getting to Know Kassi segment. And then we're going to be talking about how to fix up your doll, best methods to cleaning, best methods for getting stains out, and anything else that may come up within that conversation. I am super duper excited to get this episode started, so I feel without further ado, let's get started. Like I mentioned, we already discussed in episode 12 how Kassi got into dolls. So obviously we're not going to discuss that now because we have reached, I feel like, a new chapter within her doll story. We're talking about the renaming of her YouTube channel. So Kassi, what drove you to this renaming of your YouTube channel?
Well, it's kind of been a long time in the works. When I was in high school, I started this YouTube channel because I was making some stop motions and things, and that was fun, but very, very time consuming. And once I got to college, I no longer had time to make stop motions anymore, so my YouTube channel was just kind of sitting there dormant for the last few years. And on the side, I hadn't been recording it, but I had been repairing dolls and customizing dolls, and that had been my new hobby and one of my new favorite things to do with American Girl dolls. And so I got to thinking, well, why not just film that I'm already doing? It wouldn't take me too long to edit. It wouldn't be as time consuming as the stop motions, but people might be interested because I feel like whenever I'm trying to do something new with customization, and I'm trying to find videos to help me. There's videos on some of the topics, but there hasn't been videos on all of the topics that I've been looking for. And, I don't want to have to read through like some article or something. Like, I like having a video that can play and I can see what I need to do. And I feel like a lot of people are the same way. So I was like, if I film what I'm doing in my little doll hospital, then I can help others, in their own doll hospitals. So that was kind of what drove me to rebrand my YouTube channel. So it is now The Doll Doctor, and my old videos are still on there if anybody wants to watch my little stop motions from high school, but all of my new content is redoing, either customizing or restoring old American Girl dolls.
I love that. And I feel like with the videos that are out there now with fixing up dolls and doing customization, which that's an avenue I have not dived into, but I feel like some of them can be old or outdated or they could be hard to follow. So I really like that how Kassi's dipping into something that she's always loved to do. So what are the next couple of videos that you're going to plan on posting? What are you, maybe have ideas about?
The next big one that I have in the works is definitely actually restringing American Girl dolls. I've been in the process of learning how to take off their limbs and get rid of the old elastic and completely redo their joints. It's a process. And I think I finally got it down well enough that I am close to posting a video about it. So that will definitely be my next big one. Another one that I have that's just an idea, I haven't filmed anything with it yet, is how to do a tattoo on an American Girl doll.
Oh.
I recently got my own tattoo, and so one of my dream projects coming up is definitely to add a mini version of my tattoo to Mini Cassie. So I'm definitely going to be playing with adding tattoos to American Girl dolls.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so fun. I love how she's like just like you. You're making it like exact doll replica of you in the doll world.
She's my match.
Besides her YouTube channel, I thought I would mention that she is on Instagram. She's at agkristen09. Beautiful photos, beautiful storylines to go with the photos. So definitely check her out on there as well. This next kind of little topic got cut in episode 12 because we had some weird, interesting mic issues that happened. So I'm excited to finally get to discuss and talk about it, and the kind of topic sees the light of day. We're going to be
this is a very fun story.
Yes. This is like, I feel like this is like the most funnest story you can ever get in the doll world. It's very unique. Very original, you know? We're going to be talking about how we became friends. Do you want me to discuss it? Do you want to start it off? Do you want me to start it off? How do we want to do this?
I can start it off.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, this would have been in 2019 because it was Blair's release.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at our beloved American Girl Kansas City that we miss so much.
I love it. And still to this day.
Yes, me too. And I had just gotten the Costco Molly doll for Christmas, and I was very proud of it because, like, my aunt has a Costco membership. She went and hunted it down for me. It was a whole thing. And Mal saw my Costco Molly and was so excited to see one, and so she came up and she started talking to me.
I was really on board with Molly getting re-released. Like, during this time, there was like rumors of her getting actually re-released through American Girl, not through Costco, and so I was just on fire about it. Like, cause like Molly was one of she was the doll that I looked like growing up. I did not have glasses, but I had the bangs. I had the brown hair. Like, she was like she was like kind of like my lookalike doll growing up when I was little. And so I was just like, and plus I always loved her story too, you know, like her books are really great. And like, when you're little, you don't get to own things, you know, like you see all the stuff that you want, you get sidetracked, so you don't get to like own certain things that you want. Like, I've always wanted her tea set and like her stage and like all this stuff. And so when I heard that she was getting re-released, I was like, oh my goodness, like I can own a little bit more of her collection, because she was a doll that I've never really had most of their collection for. And so when American Girl decided to put her in Costco, I was freaking out. Because at the time, we didn't have a Costco near me. And the closest Costco was in Kansas City, which was 3 hours away from me. And, it just wasn't a thing. And so I remember persuading my parents into taking me to Costco in like December when we went to visit the store. And I got to see her there. And I was like, she is so cute. I would love to have her. And we didn't end up buying her because we didn't have a Costco membership. They gave us the option since we didn't have a Costco membership, obviously we could buy one, but what good would it do since we lived like 3 hours away? Or they said that, if we had a debit card. We didn't have a debit card at the time, and we didn't have $110, I think it was, during that time that they were out. I don't know. In cash. They said we could purchase her in cash. Obviously, we weren't carrying around over $100 in cash. So we had to leave her there. And I was really sad about it because, I just fell in love with her. She was just so cute. And so when I saw Kassi in the checkout line with her, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so obsessed. So I stopped her like a crazy person, and I decided to talk.
And she was like, oh my gosh, is that the Costco Molly? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes!
I was so glad that you were like so happy to like talk to me, because I was kind of like a crazy person, coming up to you.
But like, how often do like you get random compliments from people who like specifically know what doll you're carrying? Like, it was actually kind of cool.
That's true, yeah. And so after that was kind of it. We kind of just talked about
dolls.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, cool, that was fun. And then that was kind of the end of it because, we're kind of dorks like that.
Yeah. No, I didn't even think about asking for like a phone number or like an Instagram handle. I didn't like nothing.
You gave me a business card, I think. One of your little business
Oh,
cards, your Instagram on it. I think you did hand me a business card, but like that was like before I like was on Instagram or anything. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I think I did watch some of your like YouTube videos after that, but I was like, okay, cool. Like I didn't really have a way to like contact you. I was like, oh yeah, this was awesome. Like, and then I didn't think any more about it until later when I was like, oh dang.
Yeah.
So then we jump to October of that same year. And Mal and I are October birthday buddies, so that's really cool. We both have October birthdays. And so it was close to like both of our birthdays. And you were actually on the way home from Chicago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And had flown into Kansas City. So you were at the Kansas City store because you got to go to the Kansas City store when you're in Kansas City. And I was also at the Kansas City store to spend my birthday money. And we see each other again. And we get to talking, and, you know, we remembered that we had met at New Year's, and, like, it was so fun. And at this point, we still didn't think, oh, we should have a way to contact each other until, was it your mom that said it first, or my mom that said it first?
I think it was your mom. I remember her, like, coming between us and being like, girls, you need to become friends, or something, like...
Yeah, like, you need to get each other's phone numbers so you can, like, be friends instead of, like, hoping that you were at the American Girl store at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that was literally what we had done prior to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, then we actually got phone numbers, and the rest is kind of history. I mean, Mal eventually talked me into, you know, getting on Instagram, and I'm so glad she did, because it's been so much fun to be part of AGIG. And, we, you know, after that would always text back and forth about, like, new doll releases or, like, events coming up. Like, we went to, Joss's, like, rewards party, launch, like, on New Year's Eve together, because we had, like, organized that and worked that out. Like, it was fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much
like, oh, I'm so sorry to cut you off. That is one of, like, my favorite memories that we have together. Like, I just remember being so excited to, like, see you again. Because, like, before this, I've never had, like, a friend who, like, lived by a store. Like, when I was little, I used to have this one girl. But, like, we didn't get, like, it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, like, whatever. But, like...
Yeah, I don't meet many people my age that, like, are also into American Girl dolls, so it was crazy to meet someone, like, only a year younger than me, like, so close to my age, who, like, had even more dolls than me, and only lived, like, less than 2 hours away from me.
Yeah.
That was, like...
Yeah, I was just so excited to see you, like, on Joss's event. I just remember, like, going up there and be like, I get to see Kassi! Yay! And I get the new doll! Ah! I was just in awe.
Is when we went to American Girl live in concert in Arkansas, and we were telling this story to like the actresses in the show, and they like thought it was the cutest story ever. Like one of them actually started crying, and so that's my favorite memory of like telling this story.
Yeah. I also remember it was like during COVID when we were waiting for our store to get like back up, or maybe it was during the closing. I can't really remember. But like we ended up finding out that we live closer to each other because I thought you like lived up by Kansas City.
Yeah, and we found out that we actually lived like a lot closer to each other than like the store. Like we would always just meet up at the store, but then we realized it was closer for like either of us to like go to each other or like meet in the middle than it was to like drive all the way to Kansas City to meet up.
Yeah. That was like crazy to me. And I remember when like the Kansas City closed, like we were both so sad about it. And I was like so sad because I was like, what are we going to do now? Like, how am I going to see my Kassi? And then we discovered, oh, we live literally right next door to each other.
Yeah, pretty much. So that was cool.
I feel like the whole thing is kind of like fate, or you know the Taylor Swift song, like Invisible String?
Yes.
Like, I feel like there was like all along there was some like invisible string like tying us together to be friends and all this.
Because the fact that we saw each other not only the first time, I mean, meeting each other the first time would have been like coincidence enough. However, like it was release day of Blair. Of course, everybody's going to be at the store. Like everybody who's somebody's got to be there. But not only the fact that we met up with each other once, but the fact that we didn't get each other's numbers or anything then, and then met up again on another random day that we both happened to be there. And this was like totally random because it was like the middle of October. Like it was not a like specific release or anything. It was just the day that like both of our families had decided to go. Which,
exactly.
Like, what made that happen?
I love our story. I feel like our story is just so perfect, and it's just like
it is.
And I hope it like inspires listeners to start talking to the people at AG, and not like a random weird way, but like in like, you know, like a sweet way, because you never know, that could be like your best friend, like next to you in line, or like looking at the same doll as you, you know, like don't be afraid to start conversation, because you never know where it will lead. Like who would have thought I would be attending American Girl Live with Kassi, you know, going to the grand opening of AG Dallas.
And we went to the benefit sale last summer.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
That was
How
so
could I forget
fun.
about that? Yeah.
That was the best.
It was awesome.
Yeah, the other thing that I would say comes out of this story is people visit the American Girl stores. It is worth it for the experience you will get. Like, I know, you know, with online shopping becoming more prevalent, like actually going to the stores has kind of fallen out of favor with some people, especially because there's like less stores now. And so it's a bit more of a drive. But, you know, we are here to tell you it is worth it. It is an experience to get to go and shop in the store and meet other American Girl fans. And you never know when you're going to meet somebody super cool. And so go to the stores whenever you can. It is worth the trip. With my new YouTube channel, I've been sharing a lot of my tips and tricks for fixing up dolls. And one of my favorite things that I've discovered is probably using micro mesh to get scuffs out. And this basically like sands away a little bit of your doll. That way, like all of the vinyl around it is at the same depth as the scuff, and then you can't see the scuff anymore. And it's really interesting because there's like different grains. I just order on Amazon if you look up micro mesh. But like there's different grains, and so like the ones that are like really coarse are like good for like doing like big heavy duty sanding, and then like the ones of like the finer grains, like you can put it over and like kind of make it shiny again. And so that's probably one of my favorite tips and tricks for fixing up dolls. And then
oh, I have something to add about that too. Yes. I recommend that too, because Kassi came over with her little doll doctor bag. I don't know what the official name is but it's like this cute little doctor bag that she came over with.
It's all doctor first aid kit. It's like my first.
I love it. Anyways, so she brought that over to my house, and I found, at the time that she came over, I found a Pleasant Company Kaya from Goodwill. She was only $7, one of my great finds in the land of doll finds.
Yes.
And she had like, you know, a little scuff or whatever, and I was showing Kassi and all this. I don't know what made us talk about this over group text message, but, you know, we did. We talk about anything. And And so she was like, oh, let me just bring over my stuff when I come visit you. And I was like, okay. And so she brought over her stuff, and like, it's this nice little bag. Okay. Like I was like really impressed by your whole setup. And she pulls out this little thing. She just gets to work. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like, in my head, I was like, this is like the actual doctor coming over to check on one of my dolls. Like, I love this.
The micro mesh thing, first of all, the micro mesh thing works very good on dolls and their vinyl, and it would work on any of like the like plastic accessories. However, it has not been tested and would not be recommended necessarily to get scuffs out of like any of like the metal or wood accessories. Like I'm not an expert on those. Do not take my methods and apply it to your wood doll furniture. You will likely ruin it. And then along with that, Painting, like I said, is a valid method for fixing things up, covering up spots. Even if you want to give your doll a little face up and give them a little makeup, painting is a very valid method. But the most important thing is to look at your kind of paint and what surfaces it is recommended for. If it is not recommended for the surface you are painting on, do not use it. Acrylic paint, that's like marked as like good for like all surfaces, is great for painting on doll vinyl, just an FYI. But if you want it to like stay permanently, or like if you're giving it to somebody that's gonna like play with it a little rougher, like you need to seal it with some sort of top coat so that it doesn't get messed up. Oh yeah, and then we were going to talk about getting stains out as well with that.
Oh, yeah, and you know what I also wanted to talk about, too?
What?
The baking soda method.
Yes. So that is one of my favorite methods. This actually comes from back in ye old days of Pleasant Company. They used to sell doll cleaning powder, and it came in this fancy little container. I have one of the containers, and I just keep refilling it because it's so cute. But if you look at the ingredients, all that was in it was baking soda. So even though they don't sell the fancy little containers of powder anymore with the cute little Pleasant Company logo, you can still use this method at home. It's super easy. You combine a little bit of water with baking soda, and you make kind of a paste. Now on the original instructions, it said to use a washcloth, and originally I did, but then it's kind of a process to get the baking soda rinsed out of the washcloth. So, I typically just use a paper towel, and, this works really well for getting like minor like marks and stains, or if the doll is just like dingy and just needs like a refresh, like a good scrubbing of their skin. You would be surprised with some of the like fixer-upper dolls that I buy, how much like dirt and grime just comes off of their vinyl when I'm scrubbing them with baking soda. But yeah, it definitely works to get like any like surface level marks out of your doll. And then if you have deeper marks, I have typically used the acne cream method, where you sit them, you put acne cream on them, you wrap them in like saran wrap, and then you sit them out in the sun, and this will actually remove the stains really well. Sometimes you have to do it like over the course of multiple days. Like I had a stain on my McKenna that I have had, since I was a kid, when she was Girl of the Year. And I was able to get it completely out over, I think it took about 3 days. So I've had a lot of success with that method. However, I know right now in the American Girl community, there has been some controversy surrounding like whether it's actually safe to heat up the acne cream. And so I am in the process right now of looking for a new method that is equally effective and hopefully safer. And so I will definitely be making a video about that on my YouTube channel whenever I discover a new effective method for removing those deep stains out of your doll's vinyl.
Interesting. I did not know that. I knew about the acne method, and there's been a couple times where the baking soda, I usually try the baking soda method first on my dolls when it comes to stains, and there's a couple times where it just won't get it out.
Yes,
and so I have looked into the acne method, and I just haven't tried it yet. Honestly, because personally, I'm kind of scared of leaving my doll out in the sun, and I feel like when you do the acne method, you have to have like a certain temperature if you do set your doll out in the sun, like cannot be over, because you don't want her to melt either. So I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
There is a lot. It really is safer than I thought it would be initially, because basically it bleaches the vinyl back to its natural color. There's not a worry about like over bleaching it, which is good. But yeah, you definitely have to, find a place that you can put it where like it's not going to get messed with and it's not going to get like too hot. When I did it, I sat it in my car window, that way it was kind of protected, and then I put a towel over like her face and hair, that way it wasn't getting like too exposed to the sun and like wouldn't like get melted or messed up, and I didn't have any problems. So but like I said, there's a recent study that like being exposed to the chemicals of heated up acne cream is just not the safest for people to be around. And so recently, and I'm in a lot of American Girl and just like doll restoration groups, tips and tricks on Facebook. And recently in a lot of those, there's been discussion about trying to find a better method. And so I've been helping work on that, but we have not came to a conclusive answer yet. So fingers crossed that we come up with a really effective and very safe way to get deep stains out of our dolls.
If somebody wants to try the acne method, and let's say they have a stain on the doll's face, what should they cover up? How should they go about that?
I would say that if it's on the doll's face, if you can cover the eyes somehow, that would be preferable. If you cannot, I would just limit the amount of like hours in a day that your doll is laying out there. Obviously it's not an exact science. It's not completely foolproof, but I would for sure cover the hair because, I just feel like that is probably the most likely to get messed up. And then the eyes are probably like second most likely to get messed up, in my experience anyway. And so, I'm not a complete expert, but just from my own experience, I would say cover the hair for sure. And, if you can cover the eyes, if it's not on that part of the face, I would cover that as well. Basically when you're doing the acne cream treatment, I would cover as much of the doll as you can, from the sun, just like only expose the part that you're actually trying to bleach, for maximum protection is what I would recommend.
How long do you leave your doll out in the sun for acne treatment?
It depends. When I did it, like I said, I had a major stain, and so it was you can leave them out depending on where you're leaving them and what temperature it's getting to, of course. But you can leave them for like the whole day. Like when I did McKenna, I would put acne cream on her. I would take her out sometime in the morning. She would sit out there until the evening when the sun went down, because obviously when the sun's not beating on them, it's not as effective. And so then I would bring her inside. I would rinse it off. And then I would apply more acne cream the next day and sit her outside the next day. And I did that for, like I said, I think it was 3 days. It was last summer, so I don't remember for sure if it was 3 or 4. But I would just take her out like during the daylight hours.
Sounds good. Because I know with the backing up to the baking soda method, it's like immediate thing.
It is. And so that's why I prefer the baking soda for like stains that can be gotten out with them, because like I said, it depends on how deep it went. If it's not deep into the vinyl, you can get out some pretty significant. There's been times that I've had a like pen mark or something on a doll that I bought cheap, and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm getting this out. You'd be shocked how much comes out with the baking soda. So yeah, that's definitely my biggest recommendation. I have a lot of experience with the baking soda method. I definitely believe in it. And I would say if there is a doll with any kind of stain or mark that you're trying to get out, definitely try the baking soda first. Don't be afraid to get a little elbow grease and really scrub as hard as you can. And you will be surprised on how effective that can be in getting most stuff off. And yes, it is immediate. You scrub your doll, you rinse it off to get off any excess baking soda, and then it's good to go. I mean, it has to dry, but then it's good to go.
And I know the baking soda method is recommended by American Girl. I do have a story time about the baking soda method that I would love to share. So I was little, and it was around Christmas time. This was back when I used to have all my dolls in my bedroom. Now they're all in the doll room. So when they were in my bedroom, I had dolls displayed on my my bed, kind of, the back of my bed, if that makes sense. Yes. Thank you for completing my sentence. We're such good friends. We know what each other's saying.
Yeah, we're vibing.
And so Josefina was on there. Well, I don't know how it happened, but she fell off and she hit the Winter Charlet. The red.
Gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The kind of red part of the Winter Charlet, it has this like board that's connected to the roof of it. So she hit that part and she fell to the floor. And I was like freaking out because she got a red mark on her head.
Ugh.
And I remember at the time, like this was like the first time that I had something ever happen to my dolls like that. And so me and my mom, we called American Girl. We were like, hey, what do we do? Because, I don't want to send her to the doll hospital. I mean, I was little,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
she was like, the lady on the phone was like, this is what you need to do. You need to make a baking soda paste and you need to, and you know, that's how you get it off. So we tried that and it worked immediately. And I was so relieved. And yes, it does work. It is approved. It's approved by AG. And they even recommend, if you can't get stains out by that, they do say to send her to the doll hospital. But, you know, there's other methods that you could try, like, you know, the acne cream that we talked about, and hopefully soon a safer option, an alternative to the acne cream. I do think maybe the final destination is the doll hospital. However, you know, there's a lot of things like worry
yourself. And yes, in some cases it is better just to send to the doll hospital. And like the doll hospital will just replace whatever part. So, you know, if you have a face that's really messed up and they still have heads for that doll, like rather than trying to like bleach part of the face, you might be money ahead and definitely time ahead to just send them to the doll hospital. Like definitely in some cases, but yes, there is a lot you can do at home. Like, you can, like I said, tighten the limbs, restring the limbs. Like a lot of that stuff can be done at home. You just, you know, need to have a good video to watch, which I'm working on helping you guys with, and just a little bit of confidence to try it. And so it's funny that you mentioned like being scared to send your dolls to the doll hospital as a kid, though, because that's definitely part of why I started all this. I mean, I recommend the American Girl Doll Hospital. They do a great job. But as a kid, I had such huge anxiety surrounding, you know, my doll being away from me. And still to this day, like some of my dolls that like I've had since I was a kid, like I don't really want them out of my sight. And so that's kind of what inspired me to start learning how to fix them myself. Like I have, well, one of the things is my McKenna that I've talked about. She had a lot of issues because she was one of my favorite dolls when I was like 10 years old, and she saw a lot of playtime. And one of the problems that she had was I had gotten her a cast because she needed a cast, and I, you know, as a kid, similar to Mal, I loved looking at all the stuff, but I did not buy nearly as much of like collections and stuff back then. Like I just bought whatever was cool to me at that moment, which in my case was usually dolls. Like I wanted this doll and that doll, and so I got more dolls and didn't really get very many of like the bigger accessories or things until I was like older and was making my own money and would buy them as well. But like as a kid, it was mostly dolls that I wanted. And so anyway, needless to say, I did not have any of McKenna's actual accessories, and so I had gotten her a cast from some off-brand. And anyway, it didn't quite fit right, and it left like a total like dent mark in her shin. And so one of my quests in life was to, you know, get that fixed. But she was my McKenna. Like even to this day, like I don't want her out of my sight. I don't want to send her off. And so that was like one of my goals with like when I first started fixing up dolls. It was like, okay, I want to learn how to do this stuff so that like some of the more minor stuff like I can do to my own dolls. Like if they ever need this or ever need that, like then I know how to fix them myself. And so that was kind of what started the whole thing. And then I was like, oh, since I like fixing them myself, other people might want to know how to fix them themselves. And so that's kind of where the videos eventually came in. But I started with, I would buy like, you know, cheap dolls secondhand, and I would try out any of my methods and things on them. And so like that was how I started learning how to get scuffs out and some of those things. And then once I have like the best method and I'm like very confident, like, okay, I know how to do this, then I will finally touch the dolls that like were a part of my original collection that I had as a kid. Because obviously like all my dolls are special to me, but like the longer I've had them, like the more memories I have with them, the more like precious to me they become. And so like my very first doll, my Kirsten, like I don't think I could ever send her to the doll hospital for anything. Like I would just fix whatever she needs myself. And you know, obviously I take good enough care of her now that she shouldn't have any major issues that she would need to go to the hospital for. And so yeah, that's definitely part of where it stemmed from, was like for big stuff, on like dolls that I get, like definitely doll hospital is good. But for like minor stuff on like dolls that I've had for a long time, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather just be able to fix them myself. So that's kind of where the inspiration for the whole thing came from, definitely.
I love that. And I'm just like you know, some of my childhood dolls, I just feel like anxious about sending because I just worry about them and like I know I'm going to miss them a lot.
Yes.
Because it takes like a month or sometimes more for the doll hospital.
And that's another thing is like, I, obviously am all for like people fixing their dolls themselves. Like, I have no desire to be in the market of like people like paying me to fix their dolls or sending me their dolls to fix. But I work in a school, and so I know a lot of young girls, and especially with young girls, it's very hard to be away from your doll for a long time. Like a month is a long time when you're like 5.
One last thing that I feel like we should mention, or at least talk about within this segment, is maybe how do we fix a doll that smells? Like if you're really sensitive to smells, like I am someone who is very sensitive to smells, okay? I can't do it sometimes, depending on the smell. And I'm really sensitive to like cigarette smoke.
Yes.
And recently, fun little sad story time with Mal. There was on Facebook Marketplace recently, local to me, a 19.1. Oh, and so I met the lady. Well, she smelled like dog pee. Literal dog pee. And I had to say no because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it with the smell. And I don't really know. I'm not that educated on how to fix smells like that.
Well, I am not an expert on that either. I know how to do it in theory, and I will explain it to you all. But I would love to find, in some ways, thankfully, I've never had a doll with a terrible smell, and so I haven't had to deal with that. But now, in other ways, now from the perspective of, like, trying to figure out how to help people fix their dolls, I kind of wish that I had found one at some point, and I have not yet, that had a bad smell, so that way I could test out some methods of how to get rid of the smell. I know how I would approach it, but and you guys can try this at home if you would like, but I cannot guarantee that this would work because, like I said, I have not had the opportunity to test this yet. But it would definitely require taking the doll completely apart. Like I said, I'm getting ready to upload a like total restringing video, and you will see in that video how I like washed all of the limbs. In this case, the body was not dirty and there was no like major smell, and so I didn't wash the body, but definitely if it were a smell issue, I would wash the hair with a like good smelling, like maybe like tea tree oil or something to that effect, something that you like. I would shampoo and condition the hair and brush it out really good. I would take the whole body apart. Throw the stuffing away. That's one of the biggest places that can trap like not only smells but like mold and things. So I would throw the stuffing away. And then I have heard that a lot of people have had a lot of luck. This part I have not personally tried, but have had a lot of luck with washing the actual torso because it's fabric and they have washed it in a washing machine. I have never encountered a doll that needed that deep of a cleaning, and so I have never washed a torso, but I have seen a lot of success with it, and so that's the other part that I would definitely say you would need to do. Also, if it's like soaked into the vinyl of the face, you would need to take the eyes out and like wash the vinyl of the face somehow, probably like before you wash the hair, and brush it all out nice, obviously. So yeah. But I definitely have a video upcoming that will have how to like wash the vinyl of the limbs really well, and it gets a lot of dirt and gunk off. I would guess that it would get any odor off. But yeah, the big thing would be throw out the stuffing, get all new.
Where do you purchase all new stuffing?
It really, you can purchase it about anywhere. You can find it at craft stores or you can order it on Amazon. I think you can even find it at Walmart. And it's just like the standard just cotton stuffed animal stuffing. That will also be in one of my upcoming YouTube videos. I will talk about it. So if you're curious about specifically what kind of stuffing to buy and how to go about restuffing a doll if you have mold or a bad smell inside your doll, then you need to come check out the Doll Doctor YouTube channel.
We have sadly reached the end of this episode. I always enjoy talking to Kassi. I enjoy hanging out with her. I enjoy her little text messages and all this. And so I'm was beyond like excited that she wanted to come back to do an episode of my podcast. I really enjoyed having you on today, Kassi.
I really enjoyed being here. I really thought that this was a fun episode to make, and I really hope that all of your listeners will enjoy it and maybe learn something from it.
Yeah, I hope they get inspired to go to AG stores, start maybe like stepping out of your comfort zone and maybe start talking to people who, look nice, or, even complimenting someone's outfit, because, I feel like everybody is just have started to kind of like go to AG with all these like fancy outfits of like looking like their doll or something, or comment on somebody's doll, because that could lead to like a beginning of such a beautiful friendship, even if it's long distance, or, like they're local to you, or you're local to that store, or you're from out of town, so many different opportunities could be made from just saying, oh, I like your outfit, or, oh my goodness, that's a number 4. Like, anyways, and I hope we inspired you to also fix up maybe some of your dolls that you've been scared to touch, scared to send off to the doll hospital, but also scared to fix up yourself.
Yes, and if you need help with a specific issue on one of your dolls, I am definitely open to ideas. And so if you comment on my YouTube channel with, oh, I'd like to see a video about this, I will try to make that happen for you. So I'm here to help.
Definitely reach out to Kassi, and don't feel scared to, because she is one of the most nicest human beings I've ever been friends with and I've ever met. So definitely go check out her YouTube channel. It's called The Doll Doctor. I will link it down below in the caption or description of this podcast. Check out her Instagram at agkristen09. Also, we'll link that down in the description of this podcast so you guys have direct access to her platforms. My name's Mal. I am Dollies and Rainbows on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all over the place. Make sure that you check out my doll themed podcast, social media platforms, which is what you're listening to right now. Go show us some love and appreciation. We're on Instagram. We're on Threads now. We're on Facebook, TikTok, and I think that's all that we are on at Doll Mom Podcast. So feel free to go check us out on there as well. Kassi, I want to thank you so much for coming on again. I literally enjoyed our conversation. I'm so sad episode 29 is coming to an end, everyone. But you know what? I'm excited to get this edited and to get this posted and to hopefully inspire listeners.
And thank you so much for having me. I always have so much fun talking to you.
Of course. You're welcome back at any time, Kassi. Anytime. Well, bye, everyone. I hope you have a great day.
Bye.